We're on 29.
Yeah.
Chavtes Samad Aleph. Let's just wait, because Harold and Kenny just left the Shia. They should be home shortly.
Oh, okay. All right. Is Walter back?
No, next week.
I spoke yesterday with Genauer, Eliezer. I call him once a week at least. I'm so concerned he doesn't show up. And he says he's okay. He says he's learning by himself at home. And that's it.
Okay. So we said that if you have a lost object and it's a certain type of object that costs too much money to keep, you're allowed to sell it. And then we had are you allowed to use the money or not? So the machlokes, whether you're responsible for it, is only if you spent the money. But there's no argument that if he didn't use the money and it got lost, he's not chayiv, he's not responsible for that. Now that halacha lemet tevetiyuf to Rav Yosef, that might be a kasha on Rav Yosef Dietmar. What are you considered? Harold?
Yes.
We're on 29.
Yeah.
We said that if you have a lost object that costs too much money to keep because you have to feed it, we say you sell it, and the issue of whether you're responsible if that money got lost, we say that if you didn't use the money, if they got lost, you're potter. The question is, Rav Yosef Dietmar, Shomer Aveda. When a person, now, Mario is going to go to China. Mario, before he goes to China, wants me to watch his gold watch. So he comes over to my house, he appoints me a shomer to watch his watch until he comes back from China. If he doesn't pay me, I'm a shomer china. If he pays me, I'm a shomer socha. And the amount of care and amount of responsibility I'm responsible for depends on whether I'm a shomer china or a shomer socha. The question is, I find somebody's lost object in the street, and I take it to my house, and I'm responsible to give it back to the original owner. Now, until that happens, I'm characterized as a shomer. I mean, the guy didn't deposit it with me, but I have to watch it. So Rabbah says, my status is like a shomer schina, a unpaid watchman. And therefore, I would be potter if it got lost or stolen. Rav Yosef Omer kishomer socher. Rav Yosef says, when I have a lost object, it's like I'm a paid watchman. And a paid watchman is chayiv for Geneva Vaveda. So our Mishnah seems to be in conflict with Rav Yosef. There is no machlokas. If it's stolen or lost, after you found it, everyone would hold your chayiv. Keep pliga ba'oinsin. The shoyel. If it was like a something beyond my control, an oinus, that normally a borrower would be chayiv. Rav Tarfon Savar Shorle Rabban Lishtimush Gavai Vavali Shorle. Since when you borrow something, you're allowed to use it, so you consider it a shoel. But you have more responsibility. You're chayiv even ba'oinsin. Rabbi Kiva says lo shorle Rabban Lishtimush Gavai. Rabbi Kiva says a lost object, you don't have the permission to use it. So you're not like a borrower. Hilkach lo avi shoel alayu. And therefore you would be put by oinus. What is this lefichach to Rabbi Kiva lamalei? Why did he have to say this word lefichach? If you're going to learn Shabbat of Aveda Hu de Pligi, that they're arguing by Gneva of Aveda. That's why Rabbi Kiva said, don't use the object. Lefichach im avdu ein chayv b'achri yusam. Since you didn't use it, you're not a shoel, and therefore you're not responsible for it. Because I might have thought that watching a lost object, I'm a paid watchman, and therefore I would be required to pay if it was lost or stolen. That no, I'm not a shoel. But hashta da amrit lo yishtamish behen. But now Rabbi Kiva is not allowed to use it. Shomer Sarchulavi, Mechayev, B'Gnev Aveda. Since he's not allowed to use it, you're also not like a Shomer Socher, and therefore you would not be Chayev by Gnev Aveda. All of that makes much more sense. Eli Amrit, if you're going to learn like Rav Yosef learned, that B'Gnev Aveda to Kol Amal Pligi de Chayev, that everyone holds your chayiv if it's stolen, and keep pligi only ba'oinus and shel shoyel by oinus. What's the leficha shel Rabbi Kiva? You should have learned like this: Rabbi Kiva oimer lo yishtamish ben. You shouldn't use it. V'anaya dana kivin sha'as yishtamish ben lav sholav. He's not a shoel in a chayiv b'achri yusam, and therefore he's not responsible. So what do you need this lefichach for? Lefichach Rabbi Kiva lamali. So, Mishum Lefichach Sham Rav Tarfon. It was in a response to the Lefichach that Rav Tarfon said. Well, Lefichach Sham Rav Tarfon Lamali. Why do we need the Lefichach of Rav Tarfon? Hachi Kama. Kivin to Shali Rabban Lashtamush B'Gavayu. According to Rav Tarfon, the Rabbanan allow you to use a lost object while you have it. So therefore, command Ishtamish Gavayu Dami. So even if you're not using it, you have the right to use it. And therefore, Chayv B'achri Yusuf, even if you didn't use it. Frankie more of a Avduktani. And therefore, they're arguing not by oinus, but they're arguing by just something lost. So, Kidirab, the Amarabba, it's not just a regular case of robbery. Nignevu Melistin Mezuyin was an armed robbery. That's an oinus. The Avdu Shetavas Vinos B'Yam, or his boat sank in the water, in the sea. That's an oinus. So it's and then you'd be put. Arvid Amar Shmuel. Allah Rav Tarfon. Now, Biyad Rechava, the Chacham Rechava Havalei Hanuzuz Yasmi had money that belonged to his son. And he was watching them. Also, Rav Yosef, can I use it? And therefore you're allowed to. But didn't we learn on that halacha? You're only allowed to use money that was found as a lost object. Or, like we said, if you have a donkey that's eating you out of house and home, you're allowed to sell it and keep the money. But there you're getting rewarded for the fact that you had to put out effort to protect this Aveda. And that's why they were mat to you. But let's say you find money The lotarch, well, there you didn't do any effort, maybe low. In that case, you're not allowed to use it. And hani, money of Yisoimim, is kemos avedadomu. It's like if you find money in the street, so you can't use it. Omar lo zil lo shavkili da ashulacha. I'm glad that I wasn't matter to you to use it, because Abaya proved very strongly that it's not permitted to do. Mishnah. Matzah Sfarim. Now, depending on the object you find, there are certain dinim that are applicable. You find Sfarim. Now, Sfarim were written on cloth or on paper. So you have to keep the book healthy. How do you do that? You want to read it once every 30 days. Otherwise, the paper gets bad. If he doesn't know how to read, goylelin, so just mish it. Don't learn a subject that you've never learned before for the first time in a lost book. Because you're going to have to spend a lot of time on it, you might damage the book. Also, two people shouldn't read the book at the same time. Each person is going to pull to his side, they'll tear it. Matzah ksus, if you find a garment, so menara achas shobshiyam, you have to shake it out every 30 days. V'shoitcha l'tzorcha, and you spread it out so that it gets aired out. Avalo lichvodo, if it's a nice Persian rug, you shouldn't put it out in your house to decorate it. Matzah klina choishes, if you found a copper vessel, mishtamish ben l'tzorcha, you should use it, because otherwise, if you don't use it, it gets bad. Avalo l'shachka, but not to use it, like scrub it with Ajax. Matzah kli zavu kli, if you find golden vessels or glass, now they don't go bad if you don't use them. Therefore, lo yiga behem. Achiyavu eliyo. You got to keep them on the side until Eliyahu Hanavi comes and says who they are. Matzah sako kupa. B'chol davar shein darko lito. You find a bag of cement in the street, something that you, as a very honorific person, you wouldn't lower yourself to schlep such a thing. Hareze lo yito. Remember, there's a lot. Don't blind yourself from an aveda. No, the Torah says pick it up, and don't mach yourself blind and not see it. However, this kind of aveda you can ignore. You don't have to embarrass yourself publicly with something that you normally wouldn't occupy yourself with. Omer Shmuel. Amotzet tefillin b'shuk. You find tefillin. Sham d'meim manichim l'altar. You calculate its value. And umenichim l'altar, you can put on the tefillin right away. Matzif ravina. Matzah sforim korecha d'shloshim yom. We said if you find a sefer, you read it once every 30 days. If you don't know how to read, you just roll it. Goylan in. But sometimes manichan low. But just setting up its value and leaving it on the side low. Why can you do it for tefillin? Amra by tefillin, bebar chabu mishkacha shchichi. This was the place where they made tefillin. And you'd be able to buy tefillin there all the time. And there's no special unity to this tefillin, that it belongs to a special person. But Sforim lo shchichi. It was very rare to find books. They were copied hand to hand. And it could be that this sefer will not be found by its owner. Hashol sefer Torah mechaver, you borrow sefer Torah. Harelo yeshilenu lacher, you shouldn't loan it to somebody else. You can open it up and read it, but you shouldn't learn, like we said in the Mishnah, a first-time subject. Two people shouldn't learn from the sefer because you might tear it. I deposit sefer Torah by my friend. Once a year, you have to roll it. And that poischel of a korbo, you can open and read it then. If they open it up just for him, then you're not allowed to read it. The Sumchus Soimer, by a new Sefer Torah Chodesh Kol Shoshim Yom, you want to do it every 30 days because it needs to be aired out. B'Yashon, once a year. Shnei Masar Chodesh. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Oimer, Echad Zev Echad Zeh Shnei Masar Chodesh. Even a new Sefer Torah you can do once a year. Omer Ma. Hashol Sefer Torah Chaver, you borrow Sefer Torah, you shouldn't turn around, loan it to somebody else. So my area Sefer Torah, anything you borrow, you're not allowed to loan out to somebody else. Omer Shimon ben Lakish, Kanshana Rebbe, Shena Shomer Shayla Hashil. Somebody who borrows doesn't have the permission to loan it to somebody else unless he has the permission of the guy who gave it to him. If you rent something, you can't turn around and rent it to somebody else. So Sefer Torah, it's special chiddush Sefer Torah. You might think you could do a mitzvah by giving the Sefer Torah to somebody else, Kamash Malon, that without permission, you're not allowed to do it. You're allowed to open the Sefer Torah and read it. Pshita, that's what the Sefer Torah is for. Why did he borrow it? It's for the sake of the chiddush. You shouldn't learn a new subject in the Torah first. If I deposit, because I'm going to China for a year, and I give it to my neighbor, he has to roll it once a year. He can open and read it. So, why is he opening it? It's not his. The Sue, in Bishlopas, it says Beferish. He's not allowed to do it. How can you say on one hand that you're not allowed to do it, and the other say you do it? So Hachi Kabar. You are airing it out. While you're doing that, but if the whole point of opening what was Bishvilo Paschu, for reading it, Osir. A new Torah once every 30 days, an old one once a year. Both a new and an old, you only have to open it once a year. So Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov and Tanakama, what's the difference between Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov and the Tanakama? They both said the same thing. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov that even an old Sefer Torah needs to be aired out every 30 days. Aval, you shouldn't learn a new subject in it, and two people shouldn't learn at the same time, period. For a minute. Lo yikra parsha achatz v'yishne. Somebody who borrows a Sefer Torah cannot read a parsha and repeat it. Lo yikra rebo parsha v'yitargum, or do it b'targum, because it's too much of a delay. V'lo yiftach po yoser mishloisha dapin. Don't open up more than 3 columns. It'll tear. Lo yikra rebo shlosh bnei adam b'krach echad. Here it says 3 people can't read together, which seems to imply hashnaim koyrin, that 2 people could read. But you said before 2 people can't read. Rabbi loikasha kan binyan echad. If it's the same subject, 2 people can read it. They're reading in the same area. They're not going to tear it. Kan b'shnei yonim then they may not pay attention. They may come to tear. Matzah ksus, you find a garment. Minar achas l'shon shun yom. You air it out every 30 days. Lememer deneir malila seems to imply that shaking out a garment is good for it. I've Rav Yochanan, mishli agarde umen betoch beso. You have a weaver who's working in your house. So yinar ksusa b'chol yom, but only then. Otherwise, you shouldn't do it. It's bad for the garment. Amri, so yeah, b'chol yom kashile, but echad l'shoshim yom alile. Once every 30 days is beneficial. 30 days is beneficial for the garment. Iboy seima, other way to be metaritz loy kasha. Hashu b'chad, one person shakes out the garment, that is safe. Ha betray, like two people like shaking a sheet, that can damage it. Ibai said like kasha, biyada, if you do it with your hand, it's good. Ha b'chutra, but you use a stick to hit the garment, that's bad. Iboy ema, like kasha hada amra, if it's wool, shaking it is good. Bikitna, which is flax, linen is bad. Rav Yochanan, kasa de charshin, a cup that was used for magic, v'lo kasa de poishrin. Better drink an elixir of magic than lukewarm water. It's bad for your health. V'lo yamaran ela b'kli matras. It's if you drink it in metal vessels. Avablicheres, if you drink the warm water in pottery, leslin, but it's not a problem. It's not a problem with metal. Elotzovis wasn't boiling. About the tzovis leslin, if it's boiling, not a problem. You haven't thrown some kind of grass or spices in. Lukewarm water with some spices, there's no danger. Somebody left him a lot of money and you want to lose the money, what should you do? These are things that cause loss of money. So Yilabish Big Day Pishtan, wearing garments of linen, they're expensive and they tear easily. You lose money. Ishtamish B'Kli, use glassware. Or if you hire workers and you don't sit among them to watch what they're doing. Roman flax is expensive and it breaks easy. And the glassware, white glass, very expensive. People who work with oxen, I guess there was a lot of loss there. If you don't watch them, they're going to cause a lot of financial loss. Okay. So again, tomorrow we could learn at 4:30, whatever you guys, I would say 4:30 is better. Is that okay?
Yes, 4:30.
4:30.
Okay. All right.
Spread the word.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Kaya.